Now, as you can see, I went ahead and set all the cam gears. I set all the cam gears in time. You can see that this timing mark lines up with that one. This one lines up with that one. So on and so forth. That's pretty close. And then down here you can see that mark lines up with the mark on the oil pump. So now what I'm going to do is try to get this tensioner to detension. Now what I know I can do is that bolt looks like crap. I don't know what happened there. But what I know I can do is unbolt this, or at least loosen that, unbolt this, and I believe unbolt that, maybe these two also. Probably just actually this, and loosen that. And I should be able to let this pivot backwards and then pry back here and tension it, put the bolt back in, and tighten it. But that's what we're going to try to do. Of course, I'm going to remove all the bearings that are still scattered throughout here out of the timing cover. Any debris I can get out of here, really. There's some that are probably underneath here. Yeah, I can see some. I'm going to get those out of there. And we're going to try to get this thing running. This bearing is also a little bit bad. Now I'm just doing this just to test it, to see if it'll run, see if it lost compression or not. Now, I actually have some bearings already. I'm deciding whether I even really want to remove this, because it spins, it'll start up, but I wouldn't drive it anywhere like that. But I can go ahead and remove this one, because I have another bearing from the twin turbo engine I tore down. It spins, and I can use it just to make sure that the engine is still has compression, which at this point, with how many teeth off it was, I'm not sure it will. I'm almost sure it won't, actually. Oh, take this tensioner off, set the belt how it should be, and try to retension it. Alright, now you can see I have the belt. I have as much tension as I can on this side. And then to hold it in place, I have a set of vice grips right there. I would recommend just using small clamps if you have them. But I'm using that to hold it so I can keep pulling on it and getting as much tension as I can to hopefully get as much slack as possible. If it'll focus right in front of this tensioner. So right now I think it's about as much tension. I mean, that still seems pretty loose right there. I'm trying to figure out how I could even give it more. I mean, this could rotate a little bit more, but I think that's essentially what will happen whenever I pull the tensioner. So I'm going to get a pry bar behind this tensioner and try to get a bolt hole, or a bolt through the hole right there, and then turn it over and check, make sure it still stays in time. Alright, now what I'm doing now is I have the bolts in here, but I'm just keeping tension on the back side of this to slowly push the hydraulic piston in and get that piston travel down a bit, because right now there's not a whole lot. I want to get it down to 4 millimeters and just keep tension on this till it gets down to that, because this piston will just slowly go in, but you just don't want to go too fast with it. That's how the bracket usually breaks down here, but I actually don't have one for some reason. I don't know if this is an aftermarket tensioner or what, but I don't have one, so I'm just keeping tension on this, and I'm going to tighten them down whenever I get it down to where I want it. So you can see first time I got it way too tight. I loosened the fasteners now and I'm letting it back off, but I should be able to set it back here in just a minute. But yeah, you want to be able to fit a 4 millimeter Allen key just barely in between that portion right here and the tensioner block. Alright, so now you can see here's my 4 millimeter Allen key, and it fits right in there. I can't turn it. Oh, just spread it out a bit. Didn't want to do that, but that's how it's supposed to be. At least granted, that's not supposed to be after you turn the engine over a few times. It's supposed to come back to 4mm. So I'm just going to set it 4mm right away, and then I'm going to turn the engine over and see if it stays there, or around there at least. Now you can see I've turned it over a few times. All the marks lined back up. Dead on. Even down here on the oil pump, everything's all lined up. So I'm gonna get my Allen key again. Gonna insert it right here, and it fits snugly in there. So that is good. Now, right now I'm debating on whether I want to put the crank pulley back on and do it. That'll ensure that the belt doesn't walk off here. So I think I will do that. Hopefully, maybe, we'll see. Put the crank pulley back on here, and then hook up the air pipes again, mass airflow, all the induction, hook it back up, and my battery's dead, so I'm gonna have to jump it, but I'm gonna start it up, or try to start it up, see if it has any compression, and we will see. Alright, now I have the crank pulley back on, I have the air pipes back on, I have this back on. One thing I almost forgot to mention is I need to hook back up the crank angle sensor, so I have that back on. I should probably actually loosen this up and set it back towards the middle, which is where it should be, honestly. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm going to go get the jumper cables and another car and try to start this thing. Alright, now I ran it for a little bit. It ran like crap. There's definitely probably valves bent. I got a laser thermometer here. What I'm going to do is get it running for a decent little bit, then go get underneath the car and thermometer each header, or it's just a manifold, I don't have headers on it, but each manifold pipe, and try to find out which cylinders have the bent valves. So I'm going to get it started up again and run it for a bit. So now I'm going underneath with my thermometer. Right now I'm on the driver's side bank. That one registers 160, 170. That one's 200. And this one's 200 also. So I assume that this front cylinder, maybe it's not close enough to it. No, it's definitely lower. About 20 degrees lower. Now I'm going to move over to the passenger side. This one has a bit more stuff on it, so it may be a bit harder, but let's see. Right here we got 73 degrees. Okay, that one's dead. 73. This is 70, just 70. Let's see what this one is. 260. So I think this whole head is dead. I can't really get to number 5 or 6 or whatever this one is, but it's also cold, so I think that this side is dead. So that means that this head needs to come off, and I'll need to replace the valves and valve guides probably. But we'll see what it looks like whenever I get the head off. I don't know when that'll happen, but Definitely this passenger side bank is dead. It's ambient temp. It's not any warmer than it is outside right now. So definitely dead cylinders. Dead cylinders. Ha ha ha. It's definitely dead cylinders. So I'm just gonna have to pull that head, unfortunately, because you can see it actually stopped pretty much right at TDC. Everything's still in time, so it's definitely the valves that are bent over there. So I'll have to pull it apart. I hope you liked this video. If you did, let me know by leaving a like. That'd be awesome. If not, leave a comment, talk to me about my broken ass car, and we'll have some fun about it, I guess. But most of all, just let me get what you guys think about this video. Thanks for watching.